Ozil mentioned to the staff that there was a bit of soreness in the knee, or he had an ache or something like that. He's gone off to the German camp. He's had a training session with their doctor, the team doctor. They've done an MRI scan. It turns out he's out for 10 to 12 weeks. News comes out. Arsenal are what's the word? Livid that it wasn't communicated to them before it made public. They think it could be not as bad as it was, or it is.
It's another injury. It's another injury.
You listen to podcasts. You listen to everything. You read newspapers. No one seems to have a definitive answer as to why we get the nature of these injuries and the length of time they happen. We've overhauled the medical department in the last few years. We've spent money on staff, training grounds, this, that, the other. We've done quite a lot in terms of trying to unearth the causes of this problem, but we're still where we are. Is it just purely down to bad luck?
I think a lot of it's down to bad luck. A lot of the injuries are. I mean, look at Giroud kicking a ball at Everton. I mean, and Tabucci, it is a lot down to bad luck, but it's also down to squad depth as well, that he overplays them, I think. I remember being at West Ham last year away when Ramsey got taken off. He was a shadow of himself that day anyway, and then he pulls the hamstring. We don't see him. We were told 6 weeks. It ended up being 3 months. As I always say in Arsenal life, always double it. They're going to tell you 6 weeks. It's 12. I mean, look at this. Where's Theo? Is he even in training? We don't even know.
He's supposed to be coming back for half.
I mean, I was told he was supposed to be back.
The irony of this is that when Wenger first came to Arsenal, one of the real pluses that he brought was we went to the second half of the season. We never had any injuries. We always had a better. So you have to say, same man, same club. Some of it must be luck. I do agree. Some of it is relating to who you play and risks you take. But a lot of it relates to that. I mean, when Pires got injured and missed the World Cup, they said that they learned something from that because not that he was injured before, but the number of games. And let's face it. Wenger was regularly criticised over the years for resting players and not playing his best team, for example, in the FA Cup. So people say different things depending on what's happening at the moment. I mean, that used to be a constant thing, that we're resting too many players. We should just play the best team every week. It is really difficult. I mean, I've been on one of those visits to the training centre, and the club obviously were sensitive to it because they did lots of work taking people to it, and as you say, they've overhauled their system. The real thing is, on those league tables that you see of injuries, we're not at the bottom actually. We're about halfway down, aren't we? The ones that I've seen. But we used to be at the top.
I think we still are.
We are at the top. The one that I saw recently.
The last 5 seasons, we've on average been in the top 2. Last season was.
So the statistic I saw the other day, I think it was since 2002. Arsenal have had 889 separate injuries, and that was about. I'm sure it's either 300 or 400 more than Liverpool's.
I think it works out to about 5.
Yeah, and Theo Walcott has had 42 separate injuries. Abu Dhabi, 40 separate injuries.
And yet Walcott...
Ozil and Theo Walcott have played together 5 times.
And yet if Walcott had gone off 5 minutes earlier against Tottenham in that FA Cup match last season, he wouldn't have been out for a year. He would have been out for 2 months.
But why would he have called him off? He doesn't do that.
No, but you have to rely on players kind of telling the truth and knowing their bodies. You play football, you know your body better than anybody else.
I'd like to make this point, sir. I used to think it was just bad luck.
No, it's not.
I cannot look at those statistics and think it's bad luck. Something's wrong. Something is wrong.
They're being
even Manchester United, who've got the next amount of injuries to us, are still nowhere near the amount of injuries that we get. And like you said, we'll have a player and we're told he's out for a month.
Oh yeah.
He's out for like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. Where's Abu Dhabi at the moment? On the website it says he's not injured, but we know he's injured. I remember I went to the open day that I had at Arsenal. When everybody else was training together, he was training over in the corner on his own. There is a problem, and I think, I know that they brought in a fitness coach, etc., but I think more needs to be done, because if you've got a business at your workplace and you're looking at it and there's a problem with absence, You're not going to put it down to luck, and you're not going to put it down to, well, you know what?
Yeah, but
Flu bug seems to come over this place a lot.
But
You're
swinging the leg after extra days off.
You're going to investigate to the full.
Well, that's
what are the results of that investigation? What are the results?
You can't. I mean, you look at Giroud. You can't legislate for that. That is bad luck.
That
was
obviously. There's a lot of injuries that are bad luck, but what I'm saying, the sheer amount of injuries we get, and it's not just the amount of injuries we get, it's the amount of time that players are out for.
I'm with you.
You know, the
hamstring
injury last season that Podolski got, he was out for literally half the season.
What about Gibbs? We can his injuries. I mean, he's had loads.
Yeah, but it's made all sorted. The thing is that you talk about Giroud. That was an unlucky injury. It was just like the angle of his foot, the force of the ball, blah blah blah. Debussy, you can kind of go, yeah, it's bad luck. However, you might want to say, okay, what kind of studs is he wearing? You know, what is it something to do with the pitch, the way he's landing? It's probably just bad luck.
Yeah.
What I'm not accepting is Arteta and Ramsey both putting up in that game. You know, with muscle injuries.
I'm with
that's
you
not luck.
Because I think because he's overplayed them.
We can't say that in.
But the season's just started.
But then what's happened during
They both had a summer off.
Okay.
And it's the end of September. That's not been.
So then what then? So what is it?
I don't know, but that goes back to the
investigation. There is some investigation.
3 games a week they were playing, weren't they?
Was Ozil given enough time off
Then it's overtraining.
after the World Cup?
Yes. Yes.
I don't think he was.
Rotated.
I don't think he was. Ozil returned pretty soon after the World Cup.
He didn't have a pretty.
Remember, they had they came back later than the other players. But to me, I mean, if you look even across Europe, there's a lot of players that played in the World Cup that are injured at the moment. So, and that always has an effect. And maybe those players should have had an extended rest.
Definitely.
Paul, so Mark, why don't you agree with that?
Because I think he had enough time off.
What?
I think he had enough time off, and then he come back and he got eased in gradually. I can't
he wasn't easing gradually.
But he's playing every minute of every game
gradually.
Well, yeah,
and we've seen that.
He's allowed to go and have a little bit of a rest out on the left wing. So he's all right.
Start of the season, he's not been on form.
Where Ozil plays.
He's not been on form since the start of the season, and makes you start to think now that with this injury, that was there that little niggle why he hasn't been performing? And if you look at a lot of the other players that played in the World Cup, Schweinsteiger, people like that, they are all injured at the moment. A lot of them. Or a lot of them have still been eased back in. And I just wonder to myself if those players should have had an extended rest. And I don't know, listen, I can't put my finger on it, but all I know is that when you look at those statistics, it's horrific. And you're not going to win a title if you go half of the season when all your players are missing. At the moment, our main players...
Robbie, did you see...
Ramsey, Ozil, Walcott, Giroud. These are all our main players from last season.
Ramsey hasn't started the season yet because every game he's played in, he's not been great. Okay, Ramsey. Did you see how bad Mertesacker was at Everton? Did you see how bad he was because he'd just been brought back? He wasn't ready. He had to bring him back because he had nobody else. It cost us desperately.
The other thing about it now, we're hearing at the moment that Koscielny he got sent home by the French FA. They're saying that there's a problem with Koscielny.
Well, we know
that. We know he's carrying that.
Right,
but who's this down to?
So then we go back to what you said is we bought no defender.
And he let Vermaelen go. That's just...
he's injured as well apparently over at Barcelona.
Well, but I'm saying it's incomprehensible, isn't it, that a club of our stature, with our money, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Robbie,
we went into that Chelsea game, remember? Right, if you to look and say your main players, your best players, Walcott's, people like that, if they're missing, Chelsea had everybody playing. Everybody was fit and ready to go.
It's another element that's going to cost.
Yeah. I think Chelsea and Manchester City would find a way through that with the.
We saw last season, Manchester City. Sorry, Giles. Last season, Manchester City. They missed about 4 or 5 games without. I'm not even talking about Aguero now. I'm talking about not the Vincent Kompany.
Yeah.
And it was like almost like a crisis there. They're saying, we got to get Kompany back.
Sure, but
one guy. You go into missing like 4 or 5 main guys. What chance have you got of winning the title?
The thing is, if you look at the injury league table, I was looking at Man City's injury league, the amount of days they've missed over 5 seasons. They haven't touched 1,000 days. Chelsea really touched 1,000 days. Arsenal and Man United are always.
Can I just say something though?
1,400
The thing
plus.
I just wanted to say was with Petit and Vieira, they hardly played together. This is when the Wenger era came in. This is when we started. They hardly play together, Mark.
No, that's not true.
Sorry?
No. There was lots of times that Vieira was injured or Petit was injured, and there was tons and tons of games they weren't together. Okay.
No.
Then the Perez injury happened. It's happened under Wenger. I don't remember this before. And
yeah, but Amanda, the game's moved on so much since the 80s.
Okay, but we're the only club that has, 8 or 9 injuries. How do you explain it then?
No, I'm saying there is something wrong. I'm just saying you can't compare it to the 80s because it's a different game.
Not compare it, but I don't.
What do you think's wrong?
I
don't think any of us know. And I tell you who's all over this is LeGrove. He keeps on and on and on about this situation because he was saying about Shad Forsyth coming in, but he's saying that he's come in, but he's trying to work along Tony Colbert, who's a little bit more old school, shall we say, and what he's saying is that look, the record's been so bad under the previous regime, and we bring a new guy in, the record's still bad, although it's only a few months. So is he actually being allowed to work?
Do you think?
Or is there a conflict there? So it's all very interesting, but who knows what it is?
It's really hard to decipher between bad luck and
He's holding back Walcott now. Because we were told last month he was coming back.
Yeah, but I hope he does. I hope he does because I don't want the same thing happening with Rambo last season. Came back and then he was gone again for ages.
Get the Arsenal Fan TV app, available on Apple and Android now.